when you walk into a room in Hollywood and you have the surname Pacino and you're the daughter of Al Pacino, is it a blessing or a curse?
Well,
Or both?
first of all, I got to get a t-shirt or something because if I walk into a room in Hollywood, I was in one on Sunday. No one knew who the fuck I was, which was great. I'm like, yeah.
That's great. You got to get a t-shirt.
Yeah, maybe I'll
it.
get some sort of my next
Al
tattoo.
Pacino's daughter.
Yeah,
That's
ask
funny.
me about my dad, you know?
Oh my God. I mean, obviously you grew up with your dad and your mum, who was also an acting coach. About directing, what do you love about directing?
I love working with actors.
You love working with actors.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
rehearsing. I love breaking down a scene and figuring out why something's not working and what it feels like and tracking the emotional beats and bringing it to life in that
Getting into
way.
the like clay and the flesh of it. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing. This was my first feature, so it's like, what do I want to do? What story do I want to tell? And it was really important that I made something that I could just stand behind and look at and say, I didn't pull any punches, and this is my honest, truthful self. And you know, if others love it or hate it, it doesn't matter because it's my most honest expression.
All right. Well, lovely. Today we're sitting down with filmmaker, photographer, writer, director Julie Pacino. As the daughter of Al Pacino, Julie grew up around one of the most legendary names in cinema, but she has carved out a voice that is completely her own. Her feature directorial debut, I Live Here Now, is a psychological horror film that explores trauma, memory, identity, and the parts of ourselves we sometimes have to confront in order to become free. Welcome to the Cabana,
Thank
Julie.
you.
Thank
It's so
for
nice
coming.
to be here.
Oh,
so cozy.
What a pleasure.
Yes.
This is really a pleasure.
Yes. I love coming to Malibu and to have the chance to sit down and talk with you. And thank you for watching my movie and saying these nice things.
Your movie it's everything. It's very moving. It's very intense. It's very triggering. Even my dog got triggered. But I have to say, I really admire your courage to look at some of the shadow sides of the female psyche. A lot of trauma there and a lot of exploring. How did you start out with this particular subject? Or
Yeah, it was, it sort of just came to be in a really organic way. It was in 2020, and I wrote a short film that was about a woman who was stuck in a literal place because we were all kind of stuck, or we all were stuck in our literal home because of COVID. And it started just like as a short film that I was gonna make with my friends because we were all going crazy and you know, we thought, what can we make for, you know, not a lot of money that takes place inside of one location? And I don't know, like I wrote the first draft and it was feeling good as a short, but then something awoke within me and I was starting to think about being stuck as a metaphor, like being stuck in a place as a metaphor and the horror involved in that and
being stuck in an emotionally
stuck.
And I mean, the character is going through a lot of emotional abuse, right? Self-inflicted, inflicted by the entertainment industry, inflicted by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of that kind of trauma around Hollywood, or is any of that trauma your own? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's a really personal movie. Definitely a lot of the childhood stuff, you know, is drawn from experience. But I also invited a lot of the women who worked on the movie to bring their own experiences to it. So it's sort of like Rose became this composite character of female trauma, and there were bits and pieces that I borrowed, you know, because I'm not an actor, so no one has ever necessarily, except my doctor, has ever told me to like lose weight.
Right.
But you know, the actors I was working with have had that experience, and I thought, you know, since this movie is about a woman refamiliarizing with her body and her insides, that it would really make sense for her to be an actress, which is such an external existence, and there's so many external pressures, and she's fighting against that in the movie because she's just trying to get to her core, which is where the root of her trauma is, and so it just sort of made sense for her to be represented as an actor. And then yeah, it was great to have people weighing in on that and sharing their experiences.
I mean, I kind of related to it
Yeah.
because, I was an actor before and then I was a rock singer. I mean, Hollywood can be so vicious. A lot of young women do seem to show up in Hollywood in need of external sort of love, or, that's where it all goes wrong, really, isn't it? When you're
Yeah.
looking on the outside of you for what you need to find within.
Yeah, and that's the thing in the movie. It's everything is external in the first act, like
Mm.
even the crowns, right? Her boyfriend opens her notebook and he's like, "What are these?" And she's sort of ashamed of these drawings of these crowns that she'd made. And the idea is by the end, she shed all that, and
She's able to crown herself.
yeah,
Right,
exactly,
yeah.
and is proud of it and isn't like bashful and ashamed, and she owns it.
I mean, it is pretty amazing to figure out that the journey of our lives really are reflective of what's going on inside of ourselves. That's what I loved about your movie. You really go into the shadows in this movie. Have you done a lot of shadow work? Have you looked into your own shadows? Because
Yeah.
it's pretty fearless.
Yeah, listen, I've definitely have a good therapist.
Mhm.
I've done a lot of psychedelics and
Right.
had some really bad trips. And these things all helped me, get to the core of some stuff that I was definitely running from,
Mhm.
and I think I had a lot of fun making this movie because through the movie, I was working through that. So it was like there was a huge release, and this film is really this film is what it felt like for me to go through that process of facing my shadows, my
Mm.
inner demons, and healing.
Mm.
And, I think it can be frustrating for viewers sometimes because it has this sort of circular thing about
Mm.
it, and this kind of repetition that is driving Rose mad that can also drive the audience mad. And to me, when someone's frustrated by it, I'm like, yeah, that's by design. Like that's what
Mhm.
it feels like to
Well, it's
to
supposed
go
to
through
trigger
this.
us, isn't it?
I mean, I think it's supposed to trigger you if you're watching it in an honest way.
I had
I
to
don't know.
take a good
And you
long
did.
walk on the beach.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, moments that
Yeah.
really triggered me, the moment where she stubs out the
Yeah.
cigarette on her own leg.
Yeah.
The moment where she's in the office of the agent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a lot of the stuff I worked through as a young actor, performer, desperately wanting attention. I look back now and I think, well, I just, my dad was alcoholic and he wasn't around much. So I probably was looking for someone to make me a star or shine the light on me because I hadn't found that so much in my childhood. Do you see the crown as the sovereign self?
Yeah, I think the sovereign self, I see the crown as the culmination of all that she's been through in her life up until that point, the good and the bad, the trauma, especially, represented in these jagged mirror and this sort of branchy thing, and her realization that all those things actually make her who she is, and that she doesn't need to be ashamed of them anymore,
Mhm.
that she can literally wear them as a crown. And there's a
Wow.
pride to it. And then she can make the declaration, I live here now. This is mine. And
Mhm.
so that was what I was really wrestling with while making it was, you know, this was my first feature. So it's like, what do I want to do? What story do I want to tell? And it was really important that I made something that I could just stand behind and look at and say, I didn't pull any punches. And this is my honest, truthful self. And,
Mm.
if others love it or hate it, it doesn't matter because it's my most honest expression. And so that's kind of what Rose is doing too. Once she pulls this crown out of herself, it's not a beautiful, I mean, we were joking before it started, like it's not this polished, beautiful,
Mhm.
gemstony traditional crown. I mean, it's really raw and organic, and beautiful because of its sloppiness and bloody drippiness. And she wears that. So there's just great beauty in that. And I think a lot of women and men, I think it's universal. People can relate to that process of realizing that you don't have to be ashamed of the things that happened to you that were out of your control. That if you're vocal about those things and you somehow can find a way to be proud of those beautiful scars that you've got, then you might find that you're connecting with other people who've gone through the same thing. And that's been the
I
most
love
beautiful
that.
part of this movie.
It is wonderful to, what you're saying, which is that no, wear it with pride, all the things that have made you who you are. I think it's some of the Native American tribes, they never make a piece of art that is totally perfect. They always have a break in or something because they say, that is what makes it beautiful. And I think also Jung has a saying about, it's only when we're totally cracked that the light can come in. And, one of the things I loved, my booby's showing for how long? All the way through it? Are we okay?
I
didn't ruin the...
I'll pop mine out.
There we go. I probably shouldn't have worn this glamorous top, but anyway, I wanted to.
It's great.
Okay, thank you so much. That crown at the end, is that more like twigs?
Yeah, it's made up of like branches and then shards of mirror, which is represented in like a couple scenes prior where she like literally tries to force her shadow self or her ego or whoever Lillian might represent. She forces her to eat a mirror.
I got to be honest, that was really, really tough. What did that mean to you, the forcing of eating? I wasn't sure if, for me, it was kind of like she was killing her own demons. Is that what it meant?
That's what it meant. That's what it means to me. Yeah, she's forcing, the mirror just being this symbol for obviously looking at that deepest side of yourself. And then, she tries in a really violent way to do to her ego, her shadow self, her demon. She's trying to do to it what it's been doing to her, forcing her to drink, forcing her to, eat or not eat and hurting her. And she tries to, that's how she starts the process of killing her demon. And then she realizes, she finds the piece of glass in her throat and realizes that that's just ultimately hurting herself. So then it's about, how do I put this side of myself to bed in a loving way? You can't kill off this thing completely because it is part of who you are. You don't exist without this shadow side. You said it. There can't be the light without the cracks. So there has to be some sort of ceremony to it because, you can't ignore it and you can't hurt it because then you're just in conflict with yourself. So how do you
accept it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's like a lot of acceptance in that last scene, and it's really beautiful. And it's not a thing that was scripted that way. It was actually scripted to end in a really violent way. She stabs her in the heart in the script over and over and over again, and she's covered in blood and she's and then like, I don't know, somewhere along the way when we were shooting, I just realized like that was not what Rose would do to fully heal. She'd need to kind of do it with love.
I love the scene where she goes where it becomes clear who the mother is.
Yeah.
And she says, this isn't mine. These
Exactly.
traumas are not mine. These are yours. Why did you choose surrealism? Why horror?
Yeah, well, I love it. It's so cool. You really understood my interpretation of the movie. The horror genre is just amazing because it's so broad, and horror can mean so many things nowadays. I feel like there's just a lot of great genre filmmakers who paved the way for the rest of us that it can be horror adjacent. So that's like a safe little cocoon to create within. I also love like blending campy humor with my dark stuff just to give the audience like some relief as
a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I think the healing process has funny moments to it where you're like, it's really dark and intense, but like, again, just we were talking about it, the duality of life in general. It's just like sometimes it's funny and
Yeah,
like
I had a moment like that with a healer a couple of days ago, and I was like, "Oh, and oh my God," and we were both laughing.
yeah,
There has to be some humor, right?
yeah, I think so. And so horror, that's why horror and surrealism, you know, um, I don't know. It's just the kind of stuff that I like. The kind of movies that I love are deal in allegory and surrealism, and that's a spectrum. So this movie is quite surreal, but it starts off. It holds your hand for the first 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes, and then it kind of starts to let go a little
Yeah,
bit, and
right.
and then you get to kind of drift on your own. And I love that kind of like Alice in Wonderland structure, Wizard of Oz structure. Like I love those types of movie that seem to start in reality and then morph into something else. And as long as there's characters that I feel like I can connect with or can help ground the story, I'm all in for those kinds of movies. So
Yeah, because life is like that as well,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's a trip.
We're
Yeah.
always Dorothy. We're always dealing with the Wizard of Oz of
Yeah.
there's always some demon that we give our power away to. Who are your favorite filmmakers or your favorite movies that really inspired you as a young
I
creative?
Yeah, I mean, well, David Lynch,
Yeah.
is one of my favorite filmmakers, and also just like favorite artists. I think
Mhm.
all of his art and his process and I practice transcendental meditation. I
Yeah, me
learned it.
too.
You do? Oh, great.
I just
Yeah.
got a new mantra.
Oh, you did?
I thought maybe I had outgrown that mantra,
Oh, no
and then
way.
someone just gave me a new one. So I was like, "Oh, great!"
I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I don't know if it is, but I
Yeah,
just
well,
said
it is.
I said to the guy, "Oh, go on, give me a new one."
I
Just-
love it. Okay, you upgraded. You could
Yeah.
like lease a mantra. Interesting.
So you love love
Yeah,
meditation. It's really helpful, isn't it? Nervous
it's
system and
yeah, and
regulation.
I love it, and
Mhm.
I learned with his foundation, and they were incredible, and so yeah, just the way that David would talk about his process, I feel like gives a lot of people permission to make art in that way. I don't
Mm.
know. Whenever I watch a David Lynch film or look at a David Lynch painting, I'm inspired and I'm like, oh, I can just make something that feels a certain way. So he's a huge inspiration. Stanley Kubrick, I think Terry Gilliam. I love
Mm.
Terry Gilliam. I
Mm.
think his stuff is so wacky and
Mhm.
funny, but just and over the top, but still somehow gets me in my emotions. So yeah, those are a
I
couple.
mean, I love the idea of the hotel. It's like
Yeah.
Hotel California, isn't it? They go in, she arrives, and then she has to kind of face all of these demons and shadows. My producer, Diana, she said it seemed like an ayahuasca trip that she had been on. But
Diana.
for me, it felt more like one of my rock and roll nervous breakdowns. I think I did end up in a hotel in the desert one time. Like, wasn't doing drugs, but I had terrible anxiety. And a very famous actor lent me his therapist who called me and said, are you either anorexic or suicidal? I said, neither. I'm just anxious.
Uh-huh.
But it made me realize how often they were dealing with those two things. And he actually turned me on to the most amazing life coach therapist who worked with me as a performer for 5 years, really saved me
Wow.
from myself and Hollywood. Yeah, it reminded me of one of those moments where you're kind of like the walls are coming in
Yeah.
and you're going to have a nervous breakdown and everything, and you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're facing the worst of it.
Yeah. Those walls closing in is a thing that happens to her too. It's just she runs out of places to go and she's got to like really go through that vent to get to like the actual
Yeah,
stuff,
I
right?
get claustrophobia. So the vent, you know what I was telling myself during the vent? When she's going down the vent, I was like, this is just a film.
Good.
She can probably,
Totally. She could have stood up
she could
anytime.
have stood up.
Yeah.
There's cameras. No, because I get real claustrophobia.
Yeah,
So
I feel you.
I thought that was amazing performance.
She's so great. Lucy Fry. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
wonderful.
amazing. Yeah.
And I think it's a great movie for women, to really honestly look at our shadow selves and some of the stuff we might be subjecting ourselves to. women as young women, we're not that encouraged to own our own power.
Oh,
And
not at all. We're
in,
discouraged.
yeah, I mean, they're objectified. You got to be cute. You got to be beautiful. You got
Not
to
too emotional. Be quiet. Relax.
pleasing.
Calm down.
And fucking hell,
I
we're
mean,
none of those things.
I got told that so many times throughout the process of
Did
just
you?
like, you're being emotional, and
As a child or during
no, I mean,
the
in this
making?
business in
Yeah.
general, and yeah, during the making of this, of course, there's just some guy in a suit that's thinks I'm being difficult, and yet when that same guy has an issue and he's actually being difficult and emotional, it's okay. But when a woman is upset about something or just fight, I mean, I don't even get upset. Look, I'm a fucking, I make movies. I'm not doing heart surgery. Like, I understand in the scope of this existence, I'm an artist and I do my best, but I'm not saving lives. So but I care about my art and it matters to me, and I'm really protective of my collaborators. So yeah, when I really believe in something, I'm passionate about it. And I just felt like the amount of times that I was told I was being emotional, I'm like, I actually don't even feel anything right now. I have no emotion. I'm just trying to emphasize how important this one thing is. And it's like really challenging to be constantly told that it's some emotional thing when you're just trying to fight for your art.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think we're discouraged. I think we're discouraged from owning our power.
which seems a bit ridiculous, especially like you said, when you're directing something, when you're emotionally invested. Do you think things have got better for women in Hollywood expressing their own voices? I mean, is it women Hollywood or is it just talent Hollywood?
I don't know, honestly. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's so hard to I feel like we won't know if it got better until like 30 years from now or something. Do you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
yeah.
it's hard to be in it and be able to gauge the progress. I don't know.
I mean,
It has to have gotten a little bit better.
Mhm.
The poet in me wants to believe in that, like that over time things improve. Sure, we
Yeah.
can vote now. Like
Yeah.
it's better for women than it was.
And it seems like it got really cleaned up. When I came to Hollywood when I was 23, and I met a pretty famous producer, and who had produced one of the biggest movies at that time. And he said, basically, if you marry me and give me a kid, I'll make you like Julia Roberts. And I was like, what a horrifying idea. But I think things have really changed a lot. And so I beetled off back to Europe. I thought, I'm going to write my own movie, and I ended up coming back, the rebel that I am, to sing rock and roll. And I think he thought I was off my trolley.
What's it like in the music business, though? It's got to be just as bad. No?
No,
Really?
Well, my experience, I was an indie artist. I was writing my woman on top songs, and I was writing my own parts. When you write a song, you write your own part. So no, nobody really asked me to do anything, to be honest.
That's great.
No,
Maybe I'll start writing music then. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'll learn how to play the guitar.
I mean, what I discovered early on, if you have an all-male band, which I had a few, you can kind of they can kind of mow you over. But once you start putting men and women and making a balance, and finally I actually got really cheeky and I put a female band leader.
Oh my God.
And then I was home, wasn't I?
Yeah.
So I had a wonderful music mentor called Jim Scott, and he has recorded some of the most amazing musicians in the world, from, the Chili Peppers to Dixie Chicks to Johnny Cash. He was very kind, very protective, very nurturing. Yeah, nobody asked me to,
That's
I don't know,
good.
shag them in the back of the bus, or I don't know,
Yeah, no,
Not
that's
really.
good.
I mean, no, maybe one of the guys in the band would have said, oh, if you fancy it, but I was
If you
paying
fancy
them.
it.
I was paying them. So, I'm
No one
too,
ever did that to me.
I'm just too British to go along with that.
No one wanted to shag me. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know what
sure.
that's
No,
about.
I'm sure that's coming next.
Come on. I'm the epitome of a beautiful woman that a straight man would love. Like, come on.
Exactly.
What's there not to want to shag? No, I mean, yeah, well, I guess we're both very lucky then to, I mean, not have had that, because obviously that's a thing in this business.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
So it's a long journey to find your own voice, isn't
Hmm.
it? Your own inner voice. And I've worked with some very, amazing also male creatives.
Yeah, me too.
And sometimes there's been a little bit of that friction
Yep.
of they see it one way and I see it another, but maybe that's natural in any creative. What kind of things have you done during this journey to find your own creative inner voice? Just for any other young women listening, I know you cut shorts. You're
Yeah.
a poet. What else has
I'm
really?
a self-proclaimed poet.
Are you?
I'm
Can you
not.
give us one of your poetry?
No way.
If
No
you
way.
if you want, we can improvise one.
Listen,
I
I'm
sit with you, a crown between us. No, anything you like.
I'm not good at freestyling. In fact, I mean, we were talking before this started about what like other versions of life that we'd maybe want to live, and I think being a stand-up comedian, which is a very poetic
Mm.
profession, or a rock star.
You want to be a rock star?
Yeah. I mean, I just think that must be amazing to stand on stage and have everyone in unison singing your art back to, like, there's just the reflection. It's just that seems
I mean, the energy of a band.
Yeah.
Like when you go on, and I was really into Jim Morrison, so I used to like
I love Jim
walk
Morrison.
to the front of the stage in these long silver boots and these short little and then I'd just like scream down the mic. It was very primal. So I did love all that.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy the diva. Hopefully it's the shadow side isn't the narcissist in me. But no, I mean, I enjoyed my rock and roll years. Actually, I used to hang out with Chaz Palminteri during those years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah. And because I was quite fascinated by all those, like amazing characters that would hang out around Hollywood.
But just like the poetry of being able to write poetry, turn it into music, and then stand on stage and share in that with a bunch of
Yeah, that's what I
people.
that's what I
It's
thought
amazing.
Jim Morrison did in
Yeah,
such an amazing way.
exactly. Yeah.
He was a poet. He was kind of a philosopher, a
Totally.
shaman.
Yeah.
And he was this sort of divine blend. And I was very inspired by him. Did you, obviously, because of your parents, you've had a real insider's view of everything that goes on film sets. And did you enjoy that insider's view?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously like incredibly privileged to have
Hmm.
grown up exposed to this industry and this, more importantly, like this art form. That's what was
Hmm.
so amazing about the way that I was raised. Both my parents really, there was an emphasis on the art of it.
Hmm.
And
That's beautiful.
yeah,
My parents were artists, so I get that. Yeah.
and just again the privilege of being put in a position where I could pursue that
Yeah.
fully. And
That's wonderful. That
yeah.
is a real blessing. Was it automatically filmmaking? Obviously because of your father, there's such a big legacy of filmmaking. Did you have to sort of really claim it for yourself?
Well, I don't know. It was filmmaking was a thing that I wanted to do from the
Mhm.
first time I stepped on one of his film sets, because it
Right.
felt like this imaginary world where
Right.
there were these s- where you could just make believe. And
I love that about
yeah,
creativity.
absolutely. And what little girl doesn't love that? And so I always was trying to get my friends together to make believe. And sometimes we do little plays on other.
That's what I used to do when I was a
You
kid.
put on little plays.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a needing to get out into a fantasy world? For me, I think but I was dealing with my dad was a bit of an alcoholic when I was growing up. And I think there were moments that I just needed. Was it like a fantasy place for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, and it still is, to
Hmm.
be completely honest. I think that my happy place is being on set, uh, shooting something, because it's
The
this
camaraderie
the
and the
camaraderie,
togetherness.
the
Yeah.
togetherness, the fact that this is a imaginary world that's safe. We
Yeah.
can go to extreme lengths, but we have this script that we know is our
Safe.
safety
Yeah.
net.
Safe.
And so there are rules, and,
Hmm.
but yet we can be expressive and free, and anything goes. So it is yeah, it's absolutely, and that's the kind of stuff I like to make, and the kind of stuff I like to watch, something that's going to
Hmm.
transport me, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know that I'm the right choice to direct some sort of, like, you know, political thriller that's like very real to life. I want to make something that where anything is possible, where you could pause the movie, 45 minutes into it, and not have any clue what's going to happen in the next scene. I really,
And I did really like that about your movie, and I actually thought that was what was going to make you really successful.
oh,
I thought about that. I was watching this and I was like, oh man, I think if she takes all this juju, all this mojo, and she puts it into something that also has a little bit of, probably, I don't know how you'd say this, commercial edge,
yeah,
this is going to be like a pretty powerful combination. Did I tell you I made horror movies in Italy?
you did. Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah, they weren't as fabulous as
Did you
yours.
make them, or you were?
I was acting in them.
Okay, yeah.
I
Same
remember,
thing. I mean, I don't mean to
yeah,
undercut
no.
the acting. That's obviously a
Yeah,
big
my
part.
favorite scene, I think I got chopped up and put in a plastic bag, a black bag. But here was the wonderful thing about it. I was 21 when I went to live in Rome, and I had this fabulous Italian boyfriend. I lived in this beautiful palace, and I couldn't speak Italian. And I so wanted to be on these movies. I would go to the audition and I just, whatever the director would say, I would say, si, si, si. I would just say, I didn't know what he was saying. They would get me on the film set. Luckily, I was speaking in English on the film, but they would direct me in Italian. And so they would be saying things like, put the knife down. And I would be holding it to the sky because I couldn't understand. But I learned to speak Italian, posso
Wow.
parlare italiano, on Italian movies. I should be careful what I say, but they weren't very good.
No, but that's like the epitome of fake it till you make it. That's like amazing. There's
Mm,
no fear in that.
mm.
21, you're like, the answer is yes.
Yeah,
CC. That's all I need to know for now.
much softer scene, the Italian scene,
Yeah.
than the Hollywood scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little bit more laid back.
What's it like these days raising money for movie making?
I mean, it's just about sifting through and getting to the right person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rejection, but I think just
How'd you
that,
deal with that? Because that
um,
was the bit I didn't do well with as an actor.
yeah,
I would have been an actor if I'd had as much therapy as I've had now. Because I couldn't
yeah.
deal with the rejection.
Of course, it's so hard not to take it personally, especially when you're making movies or art that are coming from such a personal place. It's
Mm,
hard to not take that as a personal rejection. So I have good days and bad days, but
right.
definitely I just try to look at it as some larger plan, which it is. That
Do you have, on a bad day, what kind of tools do you use? Like the meditation?
carbohydrates, like
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
I gained like 20 pounds last
yeah,
year.
the occasional cigarette, a
Yeah.
glass of whiskey. I mean, really, sometimes
But
it's
I
good to
was
just let yourself feel that, and
I was thinking more along the lines
yeah,
of you had any
something
good
healthy.
habits that you could share. I take a good walk with the dog.
I mean, honestly, I do feel like it's important to give myself time to feel sorry for myself. I like to cap it. I'm like, today is
Do you
the day.
write it into a scene? Do you go?
Yes, yes,
I was taught by my
yes.
first
Sometimes,
Vanessa
yes.
in. Every time I'd go to therapy and complain, she'd say, "Give me a song.
Yeah,
Give me a song."
yeah.
So that's a good muscle, isn't
No,
it?
definitely. Obviously, turning it into art feels the best and is the most gratifying. And then you realize, oh, that's why it happened. So I could
Mm.
have this experience to shape this art. And so yeah, definitely that. And no, I think the main thing is just the faith, having faith that it's like, okay, that's not the right person. I mean, it was so hard to cast the lead in
Mm.
my movie. I struck out so many times. I got so close with some actors, and ultimately they're like, I mean, you can imagine what this must have looked like on the page, this movie. They're like, you've never made a feature before, and I really like you, but I just can't see this and I'm going to
Oh
pass.
no.
And so it's like, it's devastating when it
Yeah.
happens, but after I, meditate, walk the dogs on the beach, eat a pint of ice cream, get some good sleep, then the next day you're like, okay, that just wasn't the right person for this part in this movie at this time.
In terms of your faith, where do you go to? Do you go to God? Do you just go to a divine sense of the universe, or?
Yeah, same thing, right? To me, spiritual. I'm very spiritual. Yeah, I believe in God. I don't know. I kind of just lean on my experience. I'm like, well, there have been some shitty things that have happened that I'm like, why is this happening? This sucks, that have then turned into be actual blessings. So the faith is more just in that's just how it's gonna go.
It's gonna turn around.
Yeah, eventually. And I'm so glad that all the people who passed on this movie to play Rose passed, because Lucy Fry, it was just meant for her. She's
That builds faith, right?
yeah, of
she's
course.
amazing
It
in
couldn't
it.
have been anyone else. It's her movie, and she brought so much to the character, and she helped me shape scenes that weren't that and I needed that. I needed a creative partner to help me shape this stuff. So it couldn't have been any other way.
When you walk into a room in Hollywood and you have the surname Pacino and you're the daughter of Al Pacino, is it a blessing or a curse?
Well,
Or both?
first of all, I got to get a t-shirt or something, because if I walk into a room in Hollywood, I was in one on Sunday. No one knew who the fuck I was, which was great. I'm like, yeah,
That's great. You got to get a t-shirt.
yeah,
I
maybe
like
I'll
it.
get some sort of tattoo. My next
Al
tattoo.
Pacino's daughter.
Yeah, to
That's
ask me
funny.
about my dad.
Oh my God.
But no, I mean,
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about it when people ask you about your dad?
I love it. I'm proud
You
of my
do,
dad.
yeah.
Look, my dad, everything I know about being an artist, I learned from both my parents and my dad. It's just, I am so proud of my dad, and I'm so proud of my last name. And
He is an amazing, amazing actor.
yeah,
And I have to admit it, just for 1 millisecond, when I was growing up and I was a young actor in London and training, he was my favorite actor. Oh,
but not
God.
anymore.
No, still probably. I haven't been watching.
Listen, you didn't see Jack and Jill?
I haven't seen it yet,
All
but
right,
I'm gonna
come on.
I'm gonna see it. I'm
Come
sure
on.
he's still my favorite.
He's amazing in it.
Incredible soul.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just wow.
Yeah, he's a true artist.
Yeah,
And he
true
always,
artist.
and so
What are the things you learned about being an artist from your dad that are most dear to you?
definitely just focusing on the art and giving myself the permission to do that, and trusting that the rest will follow. That's what he'd always tell me. Just focus on the art and the rest will follow. Whatever you define the rest as, these sort of, money, success, like these things will follow. And again, like, obviously I was extremely privileged to be able to take that advice and put it into practice. It's two-pronged in that regard, but that's where my dad came from. He used to do Shakespeare monologues at auditions that had nothing to do with Shakespeare, just because he wanted an audience to perform to, and he loved
Wow.
Shakespeare and he loved the text because he loved the art. And so, I think there's just something about that in my DNA that was passed down from him. And he really is only the happiest when he's making art. And I've seen that, and I've seen his energy shift from when he's in between projects to when he's actively working on something and pursuing something. He's alive. And so that's the thing that I am so lucky to have grown up with, because I feel the same way. I only really feel the most alive when I'm pursuing a vision.
I mean, the thing is, he's so all in, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Oh, yeah.
You feel that.
Yeah.
He's so all in, which is so gripping and moving, at times. It's such a talent to be able to portray a character. I mean, obviously, you grew up with your dad and your mom, who was also an acting coach. About directing, what do you love about directing?
I love working with actors.
You love working with actors.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
rehearsing. I love breaking down a scene and figuring out why something's not working and what it feels like, and tracking the emotional beats and bringing it to life
Getting
in that
into the
way.
clay and the flesh of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing. And it's insane. I just love the more you go over a scene, the more deconstructed it becomes, and then you put it back together, and you've earned the right to like let it go. So
Mm.
I just love the process.
Yeah, it's a
I really
beautiful
do.
process.
I love the process of directing through and through. I love the same thing with editing, cutting a second out of each scene and then
Mm.
you add it up and you've like made a whole different cut.
Mm.
I just, it's maddening. It's just an insane thing to love to do, but I do. And I don't love that about, acting the way that you have to, like you
Yeah,
said, I don't love, I think it's fun to act and I've done it before and
yeah.
it's fun, but I don't love it enough to like really study it and be a student of the craft and practice it over and over again
Mm.
and obsess about it.
Mhm.
And directing is it's fun to obsess as a director and it's
Mm.
healthy to obsess as a director. I have like a very addictive personality.
Mhm.
I grew up as an athlete. I played softball at a very high level, so I understand the regiment of
Right,
like,
the repetition.
yeah, and I just love it.
I have to admit that's why I haven't been singing recently because it's like the repetition to like sing down
Yeah.
a really good, but it really requires that. I think the thing with acting, which is so liberating, it's that chance to explore parts of yourself.
hmm
I always really liked to really sort of get it, method it, so you get to play. God,
There's a safety
I'd
in it.
love to play some really
Let's do it.
outrageous.
Let me write you something crazy. Let's fucking
Please,
go.
something totally fucking crazy.
Let's
I would
go.
love it.
Let's go
And let's
bonkers.
go fucking film it in Paris.
Let's go. Say less.
Let's do it.
Where do I sign? I didn't know I was
know.
making a deal today. Let's
Yeah.
go.
No, but it's that part of it.
Yeah.
And like you said, the collaborative, I used to love it. At the beginning, I did these theater pieces in Rome, and it's when you first go into a room and you sit down and you read
Mhm.
the part, and there's this silence, and everybody's like sort of like there, and like
Yeah.
you said, we start putting plays on in the garden.
It's a great
The
idea.
Malibu summer
Yeah. Oh,
repertoire.
I love theater.
You do. You
It's,
like-
oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an actor's medium and it's just live. It's there.
Yeah.
It's happening. That's why I like making unpredictable movies because it's kind of the closest thing you can get on film to like that immediacy and that
Yeah.
like, oh my God, something could happen different this time. I like
Yeah.
trying to make a movie like that where it's like maybe you could watch it. The movie's not changing, but your life experience is changing. So maybe you watch it a couple times, and each time you get a little bit of a different takeaway from the movie. But because I love that about theater, the audience is an active participant in the
Yeah,
experience.
that's wonderful about
So
theater,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to love theater. I used to take they would pay me when I was like about 23 I get a little budget. I'd go to London, I'd rehearse a play, and then I had to take it back to Rome. And it was the way they were teaching the kids to speak English.
No way.
Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God, now you'll get, let's go.
I'm telling you. Let's bring theater to Malibu, to the Cabana.
Yeah, to the Cabana.
Yeah.
Have you watched White Lotus?
Yeah.
Because there's some outrageous parts in that, isn't it? What
Yeah.
do you make of that show?
I
Did
love
you like
White
it?
Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I love White Lotus.
I guess I was thinking about it because, again, it was in a hotel.
Yeah.
And all these shady sides.
It's hilarious and
different-
dark and yeah, no, that's a great show.
If you were going to direct your father,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry to ask this,
It's
but
not
in
no.
a movie,
Yeah.
what do you think you would like to see him play that he hasn't played?
My dad is so funny and he's
Right.
done some comedy and I also think there's a lot of humor in his serious roles. You'll see it cuz comedy is about timing. So there's just a lot of funny stuff that he does in his serious roles. I guess Glenn Ross is like kind of a comedy. I guess so. What would I want to direct him in? I don't know. I mean, I think it would be fun to do something really outrageous and
Funny.
funny and surreal,
Surreal.
because he does play a lot of straightforward, like the narratives that he's in are
Mhm.
mostly straightforward, and he loves playing people who really exist, which he is like so gifted.
Mm.
I don't know how he does that. He channels these people, and it's amazing.
Almost shape shifting, like the old
Oh,
shamans. The shamans of
Listen, this is a crazy story, and he was making TV movie about Joe Paterno.
Right.
And he was shooting it in New York, and I went to meet him for dinner one night after he was shooting, and I was a little bit late, and I walked into the restaurant, and I saw him, and he was sitting at a table in the back, and when he's doing these roles, sometimes he listens to, he puts his headphones in and listens to the person that he's portraying speaking, to
Wow.
absorb it.
Wow.
And he was doing that. And I saw him, and he looked up, and we made eye contact. And I swear to God, for a split second, he was Joe Paterno. Like he
Wow.
he was that. And then I saw him recognize it was me. And then like a light switch, it went
Wow.
off. He took the headphones out, and he was my dad again.
Wow. He has that capacity to totally embody.
It was straight up shape shifting,
Mhm.
magic. And he channels,
Mhm.
and there's a craft to it, because clearly he's like, oh, let me turn that off. That's my daughter now. I'm back in the real world.
Mhm.
So, anyway, I don't know. I don't know
Have
how
you
he
ever
does
asked
that.
him what particular aspects he loves most about portraying these amazing characters?
I don't know that I've ever asked him in such a pointed way. But clearly
Intuitively, what would you?
I mean, it's a gift. He's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just what he was meant to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a gift, and he has such great capacity for empathy, and he brings that to every character that he plays, and I think that there's maybe
Yeah, I think that's what I always loved about his portrayals. There does seem to be this this empathy
yeah.
that, and of course, the odd tango.
Listen, yeah, that's romantic.
It goes
Yeah.
a long way.
That's that Pacino
Empathy,
charm.
yeah, empathy and romance. We want that out of our leads, don't we?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you spent much time in Italy?
Not enough.
Not enough.
But I was there. We were there last.
Because even better than Paris, we could go to Italy
Oh,
and do
please,
something
yeah.
outrageous.
The French, I do love the French.
Yeah.
They're very. We had a crazy screening in at Deauville of I Live Here Now, and half of them were booing me, half of them were cheering. They were
But you
fighting
were
each other. I was
totally
like,
open.
I love the French and their
Oh my
appreciation of art. But Italy feels like home.
Yeah.
Definitely. We did Locarno last year, film festival, Switzerland, but we crossed over to have a few days in one of those little lake towns.
Beautiful.
And it was amazing. I've
Yeah.
spent time in Florence. I've spent time in Venice. I love it. I love Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to Italy and make a movie.
And Sicily.
I've never been to
Sicily.
Sicily. That's where I'm from, too. That's where my family is from.
Really?
Yeah, from Corleone.
For real?
For real, for real.
For real, for real?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was just in The Godfather.
I know. That's why life is written. Literally, our family is
Oh my
from there.
God. Isn't it strange the way life, what's the saying about life can be weirder than art?
Stranger than fiction, yeah.
Stranger than fiction. As I was watching your movie, I was thinking, which of these things, these shadows, have I not addressed? And when I looked at your photographs, because you're so clearly so good at sort of identifying someone's shadow in a way and sending it up just a little bit, I thought, I wonder what she would do with me.
I'll photograph you. We'll get in there.
I
I'll let you know.
I wonder what she would make me aware of. Oh my God.
We can help each other. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'd learn something about myself too. I do.
Yeah.
Everything I make, I learn a little
Do
bit
you
about
have an inner
myself.
diva?
I must. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you got to ask my friends that. Do I have an inner diva? I feel like I'm really patient and I'm not high maintenance. I'm like a simple
Yeah.
girl, but I guess I get a little fussy. What do I get fussy about? I don't know.
With the cinematographer or with the...
Oh, on set when I'm making stuff? No,
Then you're a total...
yeah, I mean, I guess you could ask some of my producers in the distribution company. I think some of them think I'm a diva and I'm difficult, but I just care about the art. It's not really in service of myself, which I feel like to me is the definition of a diva. It's like there's some sort of ego in that. Whereas when I'm passionate about something during the process, it's just in service of what
Of
I think
the
is
art.
best for the film.
Of
That's
best.
my baby.
Yeah,
There's like a
your child.
motherhood in that. Yeah. So
I totally get that because
yeah.
I don't have children. I have poodles and I have my records, my albums
Yeah.
or whatever I'm working on at the time. So I totally get that. What about your mom?
My mom, yeah. She just moved out here to LA. I'm so happy.
Does she still coach actors?
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like definitely semi-retired and does it, infrequently. But I think, she's also just taught me a lot about that process and how to communicate with actors, and also just my mom. Like she put boundaries for me when I was a young girl. Like I really knew what the word no meant,
That was
and
probably very important.
really important because my
Yeah.
dad was easier to get to say yes. I don't think my dad even said no to me. If my dad, I can count on one hand the amount of times that my dad said no, and it was because I was 8 and I asked him if I could keep his Oscar, and he was like, no.
Oh, brilliant. I love that.
We were just talking about that. He was like, no. And I felt like if I had asked him again, if
He
I was
would
like,
have said
please, I
yes.
think he would have said yes. But no, my mom was really, really instrumental in teaching me that I had to be working towards something. My work ethic. My mom's such a hard worker, and always teaching me that it was important to have goals and to work towards those goals, and that my privilege was a gift that shouldn't be wasted nor taken for granted. That I wasn't famous, and that I hadn't earned anything, and that my dad had earned these things, and the way that people treat my dad is because he earned it. And there was a big emphasis on doing that. I had to do that, and if I wanted the same kind of respect or whatever. And so we clashed a lot when I was growing up. As a teenager, I just wanted to go do these things, and she was the mom that's like, "I will call. I have to talk to his mom when you're there. Want to go to Zach Slingsby's house party, and she needs to talk to Zach Slingsby's dad when I get there." And it's embarrassing. I'm 15, and but she was really
She
strict.
probably really protected you as well.
She did.
My mum was really strict.
Yeah.
And I really hated it.
Me-
Growing
yeah.
up, I felt like the uncool kid, like you said. She once sent the cops out after me when I was 18 because I stayed out at my boyfriend's house. She was really
Yeah.
strict. But
Yeah, and it's good.
It's important.
It's really important.
Really
It's
important.
good parenting.
You can really, end up, not doing what you set out to do if you don't really, really focus.
It's easy to lose focus, yeah.
So if you were wearing your crown today, and well, you are wearing your crown, but if you could create any movie you liked right now, what would you create? I'll give you a budget of anything you want.
What?
Come on.
Okay, well, listen, I'm writing my next movie right now, and it's a responsible budget, and it's a female-driven horror film that I'm super pumped about. But if you're saying in this hypothetical
Yes.
situation, what would I want to do with an unlimited budget? I have a Batgirl pitch that is amazing.
Batgirl, I
Yeah,
love it.
I want to do Batgirl. So
She's got a crazy aunt who's like a British psychic who's like, oh no. That's me.
Okay, I'm inspired now. Because my Batgirl's nuts, and she's awesome, and she's flawed, and she's bisexual, and she does acid, but she's so good at this other thing and fighting crime, and she's amazing. So it's an insane pitch. I don't even know. Maybe she's just her
I
own
think it's
superhero.
brilliant for the women of the world.
Oh, she's a total icon for young girls. Listen, I don't think kids should be doing acid. Maybe you should do acid. I don't know. Not my problem. But she's flawed is the main point. And I would love to do a huge budget superhero movie is also the other point.
That would be fabulous.
Yeah, it would be so fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's in the 20-year plan or something. I
Why?
would love that.
I think it's gonna. I can feel it.
All right, so we've greenlit 2 movies today.
Oh my God.
We've got 2 movies
Write the
greenlit.
checks,
The Italy
yeah.
movie, the Julie Pacino's Batgirl, and we'll have to pay off DC, I'm imagining, because they're not
we?
going to love it. But that's
Okay.
okay. You said unlimited money, so
yeah,
we can
unlimited
afford
money
it.
and all the friends we like in DC. Queen for the day.
Oh yeah, okay, perfect. I love it.
So when I took off from Hollywood after I'd been here and had this offer, marry me and have a kid, I'll make you Julia Roberts. I took off to England and I sat on the mountains of Spain for about 5 months, and I wrote I'm not sure I quite had the craft intact, but I tried to write a script called Ms. Robin Hood.
Oh, Let's go. 3
Let's
movies.
three
It's a 3-picture
movies!
deal. I love
Come
it.
on,
Okay.
let's roll
Binding.
it.
It's a
Let's
binding
have
contract.
some fun.
We're in.
And the more filming in Italy, the better.
Exactly. We'll shoot it all.
Le como.
Yes. CC.
CCC. So, wonderful Barbara Burke texted me and said, you got to talk to Julie. You've got this beautiful is it a new endeavor?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's a pet photography business that I started with Lara Clear, who's in all my movies, and she produces all my stuff, and she's my best friend, and we're just
And she's British.
yes, and she's British. Which gets her out of a lot of trouble, by the way. The accent,
charms her way out.
really. I'm like, how did she maneuver out of that one? And it's the accent. So
Yeah. But I think also, I don't know, I think we're raised to have kind hearts, the Brits.
Yes.
So I think even if you make a mistake, if you're kind about it, you can do a little bit of the moving bush thing.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah, no, there's a tenderness beneath that intense British core or exterior. But yeah, the pet photography business has been really fun because it just was born out of a passion that I have for photographing animals. Like, I'm a portrait photographer and have had a lot of really awesome shoots and clients, and I love shooting people and men and women, and it's fun. You tell a story. But yeah, there's just like, on my downtime, I would take my camera to my friends' places and if they had a pet, just shoot these random photos of them and my cats as well. And they just, just they would be these like high fashion rock and roll style, whiskey a go-go
your
photos.
photographs are so amazing and beautiful.
With the shadows, like there's nothing like a cat with a Hitchcockian shadow behind it. I'm like, so I just started doing this for fun, and then suddenly there was like some sort of demand for it, and people wanting to, to have portraits of their pets done. And so we formed this business, and we've also been able to work with a lot of the rescues and the charities.
That's beautiful.
Which is amazing because my dream is like very much like Allison Eastwood, to have just this sort of ranch where you can rescue animals and take just really give back in a real way. I'm not in a position to do that right now. So it's like, what's the next best thing? It's like just assisting these rescues as
They're
much
so
as we
precious,
can.
aren't they? The animals. They're our earth angels.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So really, they come with such good medicine, right?
Yeah.
There's so much love and that sense of do you find that people are like their pets when you're witnessing people?
Yes, I do. That's so interesting. Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
Because they say that, right?
Yeah, they say that, and they say that for a reason. Like, definitely, there's some sort of syncing that happens, and if we have a friend who's a little bit. Let's face it, she's a little bit insane, and her dog is also pretty insane and all over the place and chaotic, and the dog's always kind of going crazy. So I definitely think that the animals absorb your energy. And
I'm very aware of that. I try to be careful of that with my dogs. My dog Fred, he's he's so soulful. He's so loving.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. Very noble
boy. Yeah.
I don't know if he's like me, but
I will decide. Yeah,
you will decide.
I'll be the one. Yeah.
But he was such a gift. He was a gift from one of my neighbors who gave him to me. So I would love to be photographed.
We have to do it.
And but they also poodles. I would have 2 poodles. They also have a little bit of that theatricality and a little bit of that glamour.
Yeah.
When I'm walking down the road with them, I never saw myself with poodles, but they do. They have a little bit of that showmanship. They know they're
naturally.
They're a bit cute. My Fred, he's perfect apart from the fact he barks when he wants more food.
Well, so do I. We can't fault him for that.
I live in this bed full of poodles. I sleep in this bed full of poodles, and it's heaven.
Yeah,
their
that sounds
energy
like
and their,
My cats don't even really care who I am. That's the thing. That's the difference.
I definitely think we're all going to Kenya.
They're like, "Where's my food?" I'm just like,
I definitely think we're all going to Kenya to photograph the elephants.
Oh, that'll be great.
That'll be the next thing,
That
right?
will be great. Well, that's the fourth thing because I think we have 3 films we have to do ahead
Yeah.
of that. But that can be the fourth thing. Absolutely.
Awesome. If someone we got a lot going on now, haven't we?
I'm sorry, I'm going off the rails a little bit. It's okay.
Write the
Let's get it
checks.
back.
Write
Yeah,
the checks.
okay.
So, I mean, your photographs with the animals are amazing. If someone watches this and they want to be photographed with their favorite animal, how do they get hold of you?
We have an Instagram that's called Portraits by Pacino. I'm also on Instagram at Julie Pacino. That's how it's gone down at this
Yeah.
point. Just kind of DM us on Instagram. We're active, and we'll squeeze you in.
What's your favorite animal that you've photographed so far?
It's hard to pick a favorite. And there are some that we've shot that I can't talk about because they're, high profile people, like their privacy. Understandable.
Yeah.
But there was a adorable terrier mix named Elvis at the Agora shelter that I photographed, who I just absolutely loved and had such a hard time not just taking home with me. But he did get adopted
Oh,
a
that
couple
is
days after
wonderful.
we shared our photo.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Listen, what a fantastic time. Do we have to talk
Was that a
about
high five, or were you telling me to stop?
Oh, no. So where can we watch the movie, of course?
It's on streaming now. It's on Apple TV and I think Fandango TV. Just watch it on Apple
Yeah.
TV. That's the best resolution and that's the best way to see it right now.
So to finish off, what's the most important thing about owning your queenliness and your queendom, your inner, outer power? What do you think?
I guess I'd have to say, just don't be afraid. Let go of any shame. We all die at the end of this anyway. So I don't, there's no real, I struggled for many years, like living an inauthentic version of myself. And I think I hurt some people because I did that, so it feels good to live honestly and not be ashamed of who you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This was fun.
This was so much fun.
This
my
is a high
dear.
five. What are we doing? Are we dancing? This is like an Oprah thing? Okay.
You want to put the crown on now?
Yeah, I do.
What a brilliant good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adios.
Adios.